So hello, good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you joining today. And my name is Stephanie Golding, and I will be your moderator for this evening. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining in for this session of the Flipside brought to you by Pick a Book. And for those of you who may be joining with us for the first time, I'd like to officially introduce you to this concept that we call Pick a Book. So, Pick a Book is an incredible initiative that was launched with the aim of igniting the love and passion for reading. And as the name suggests, we have clubs where readers can select a book, read and research, and present the insights of that book to an audience. And Pick a Book not only instills the insights or the habit of reading, but it also helps to set forth a wealth of knowledge while having our readers improve their communication and their public speaking skills. And on that note, I'd like to welcome you once again to today's Flipside, where we will be engaging with successful individuals, influential personalities in a conversation, asking them to share with us how reading has inspired and changed their lives both personally and professionally. And ask everything that's shared in today's Flipside will add great value to you as well. So today we will be discussing two very outstanding books. And before we do that, I'd actually like to introduce to you our two great personalities that we have here today. So one of them is Krishna Jai Sinha, or CJ as we all know him, refers to himself as the growth whisperer because he is passionate about creating growth. CJ has 3 decades of Marcom experience under his belt and is the managing director of Sarva Colombo, a strategic communications consultancy which delivers solid bottom line growth to their clients. He is also a director of mediation, a media buying company, and Mantram, a Tamil communications company, and Purpose Global, a cause oriented lifestyle company. And is also the founding director of Infection, a digital marketing company. On a personal note, CJ is the dad of 2 beautiful girls who he loves driving around the bend, quite literally and figuratively with his dad jokes. And ultimate bliss to him is to read a book sitting by a river, deep inside the jungles of Sri Lanka, where he goes to recuperate and re energize himself. He is an avid reader and loves watching movies and documentaries. He is really interested in self improvement, spirituality, mysticism, as well as fiction. Finally, he is a foodie. If you want to know where and what to eat in Sri Lanka, you know who to connect with. A very good evening to you, Krishanta. How are you today?
Hi, Steph. For some strange reason, I can't hear you clearly at all, and it's like a very warped voice. So, would you mind typing your message to me so that I will be able to answer you? I know it's a little sad, but that seems to be the
Yeah,
situation today.
it's okay. We all had to get used to the virtual reality, haven't we?
Let me try and remove my headphones. Let's see.
I think you will have to disconnect from the headphones. We cannot hear you, Krishanta.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Oh Lord. Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, now you need to type what you
Okay.
want because for some technical issue, something seems to be not, I can't hear you properly. Oh, I'm doing very well this evening. Thank you so much for asking. I've had a good day so far, and I'm extremely happy to be here and share my knowledge with you. Thank you.
And we are extremely happy to have you. So thank you for joining with us. And on the other hand, I'd like to introduce to our other personality that we have here today, who is Dr. Mohan. Dr. Mohan is an economist, an educationist, a legalist. He is also a proprietor of Synergy Education and Law Academy. He was born in Valigama of Matara and graduated from the University of Peradeniya and Colombo Universities. He was a teacher of Sahira College, Valigama. Along with that, he was also in the Planning Ministry of Battaramulla and also in the Ministry of Finance in the General Treasury, Colombo 1. He also worked in the Department of Economics in the University of Peradeniya and the Department of Commerce in the University of Colombo, the Department of Management in the Vaunia University, Department of Management Rajarat University, and also the UNDP Sri Lanka with the Southern Area Development Project. Hello, Dr. Mohan. A very warm welcome to you this evening. Dr. Mohan.
Hello. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hello,
Can you hear
Dr.
me?
Mohan. Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me, please? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello. Yeah. Can you hear me?
We can
Okay.
hear.
Thank
Yes, we can.
you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And thank you for being here today, Dr. Mohan.
Okay. Thank you. I can hear. Right. I am
Oh,
Dr.
okay,
Mohan. Shall I
great.
discuss now? Or
Yes, if you would like to, you can go ahead.
hello. Yeah. Okay. I'm now. Are we in the live now?
Yes, we are,
Yeah.
Dr.
Are we in
Mohan.
the live program on the Facebook? Okay. Thank you. I am Dr. Mohan, originally from Southern. Graduated from. Okay. End of the discussion and also research and my engagement in education and law. Okay. Thank you. So go ahead, please.
Thank you, Dr. Mohan. So, I guess without further ado, we can move on to the most anticipated moment of today. So, we can start with the questions, starting with Krishanta.
Hello.
Yes. So, why don't you tell us about which book you will be talking to
Yeah.
us today, and also how you relate to this book and how you think the potential audience will relate to it?
Okay.
Stephanie, again, if that question is for me, you need to type it out. I just heard Krishanta. That's it.
Yes, give me a moment.
Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about a book called The Perfect Day Formula. Firstly, you must forgive me. I actually had sent the book title as The Perfect Week Formula, but it's by the same author and there's a huge overlap. So the perfect day formula has everything about the perfect week formula as well. So today, what I'm going to talk about is this book called The Perfect Day Formula by this author called Craig Ballantyne.
Yes, thank you,
Okay,
Krishanta.
so
Yeah, you can
your
tell us
question
about.
is, how can you tell us how you relate to it and how you think the potential audience will react to it? I think if you look at Craig Ballantyne, starts with this superb example, uh, which I'm going to share with you, and then you can see how we can all relate to it. So let us for a moment imagine that we are going on a holiday. Let's assume we are going to Singapore or Greece or some country like that, and we are going to take a 2 week holiday. Now, in this holiday, we will plan every detail of every day absolutely meticulously. For example, we will figure out the best airfares, we will research and see where we want to go and what interests us. We will plan which hotel we are going to stay, which taxi we are going to take, how much of money we are going to spend, and also from the morning, noon, and evening, we will plan it out meticulously. But for a 2 week holiday, we put in so much effort. But when it comes to our long term life, most of the time we go about aimlessly from day to day without really thinking or without really focused on our days as we would on a holiday. Now, for most of the time, we have what is known as a to do list, which we work off. And it also gives us this false illusion that we are very, very busy. But to be very honest, what you will see is a to do list is most of the time you are working with what is absolutely urgent to you, not necessarily what is important to you. And at the end of a day or a week or even a month, you will realize while you've been very busy, you haven't really moved forward into your larger goals in life. So that is what this book is all about.
And thank you, Krishanta. I think it's really interesting the way you put it. And now I would like to ask Dr. Mohan to tell us a little bit about the book that he will be speaking to us today. Dr. Mohan?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, speaking as Mohan. My field of the presentation normal economy. So this is the topic. Poverty is not passive. Today you can see the burning issue and vital issue people are suffering. In Sri Lanka, we can now due to the corona issue, also the failure of the current government. People, many problems. The poverty is a common matter. Sometimes people can think it's not. However, this is the key problem of every nation in the global community. You can say today the world around the world, not division is there. Division of global governance. The north become rich, south become poor. So the book is written by Sri Lankan student, 18 years old. She's living in Saudi Arabia, studying the Bangladesh International School. There was an incident in Sri Lanka. The result, my underage girl, she went for Saudi Arabia as a house. So that was the key background. This lady, the student Zaina Mistika, uh, posing her own personal ideas and addressing the how people can poverty, even rural level to national level, global level. So that central idea about engaging poverty elimination, in the personal level, family level, state and media, and from the global level. Thank
And thank you, Dr. Mohan. So, can you tell us about what is the Human Development Index and how it can help to measure the poverty levels?
It's a normally contemporary studies, economic subject we use Lawrence.
Dr. Mohan.
I do believe Dr. Mohan has logged off.
Yes, so I think he has some sort of a connection issue. So I guess he will be joining back. So in the meantime, let's talk about your book, I guess. Yes, so Krishant, in your opinion, what leads to the author to breathe life into this concept?
Again, you might have to type what you want because I cannot hear you clearly. It's like, someone shouting from far away. It goes like, wah, 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 like that. Okay, your question is, in your opinion, what leads the author to breathe life into this concept? You see, Craig Ballantyne was a very, very successful entrepreneur. He had this thing called turbulence training, which was doing really well all over the USA. He had so he was a fitness and life coach, right? And because of this, he was very successful. So that means he also had a very successful and extravagant lifestyle. He used to go out partying, he used to go from place to place. He had lots of things happening to him. And what he realized was he was burning his candle at both ends. And not once, but twice, he suffered from crippling anxiety. And in the end, he collapsed and he had to be taken to hospital. Imagine someone so successful, he's a very fit and very good looking guy, and suddenly he collapsed because he was suffering from anxiety. So when this happened twice, he had to take a good hard look at his life and then figure out what he was going to do. So uh, that is how then he turned his life around, and that is how this book came about.
Yes, so that I think that is really interesting how he can talk about his personal experiences in this book and how it inspired him to talk about the topic that he wrote this book about. And so, may I ask, may I ask, what did you adopt from the book and what will you adopt from it in your journey of life in the future? I will type it
I
for
think,
you.
Doctor. Okay, let me answer this
Oh,
question, but you'd have to type it in again. And I do believe Dr. Mohan has logged back in.
Hello, can you hear me now?
yes, Dr. Mohan, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, thank you. Give me 1 second. I have connected. Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, Dr. Mohan.
Okay, give me 1 second. Right, connected to the book. The lady, she's Sri Lankan lady studying in the Bangladesh International School. She noticed the problem of Rizana Nafi. Okay, she was sentenced to death because of child labor, and there was a murder case. She is not experienced of handling the babies. Rizana Nafi case incidence is the key problem for her book. So she studied the problem starting from Kenya, and she investigated entire story. Her parents are highly educated, both are doctors, and she is also well qualified and presently MBBS doctor. So based on the incidents, she come to a conclusion she has to contribute. She has to contribute intellectually to eliminate poverty. By intellectual contribution, she started writing the books, generating public discourse, Facebooks and the Twitter and everywhere. So her first presentation, the book Outcomes, is Power Seek Passivity. The very interesting book. It covers the central idea, the theoretical ideas and Sri Lankan context. Education is a solution. What are the other solutions she is bringing? It is marvelous creation, and nearly chapters covers here in this book covers nearly chapters 18. Yeah, nearly 18 chapters she covers. No, not 18. 26 chapters are there. So when possible, I will update this book also in the PDF to the public audience. So that is the message about the book. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mohan. So I'll actually
Thank you.
direct another question to you. So can you tell us about what is
For
the
that
Human
question,
Development
excuse
Index?
me.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. The Lawrence curve and Gini coefficient is traditional way of calculating the poverty. Recently, the United Nations Development Program and other UN international organizations recognized HDI, Human Development Index. So it consists the three main components. One is per capita income. Second one, education. Then the literacy. So the per capita income is very important. How do we calculate per capita income? Total GDP of a country divided by its population. So plus and minus criticisms are there. How do we calculate per capita? Also calculating literacy, knowledge. So here also criticisms are there. Also education levels and the health. There are main three components. So by looking at this rank, HDI rank, today the countries are listed under the poverty line above or below. So there are three main components. So this is the latest introduction by the UN organization. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mohan. So I'd like to direct the next question to Krishanta. So what can I know? What did you adopt from this book, and what will you adopt from this book to your journey throughout life?
Okay, hi, okay. What did you adopt from this book or will adopt from this book in the journey of your life? So, again, I'm reading this out to you so that uh, I can understand what you're saying. Um, See, the single biggest thing which I learned from this book is that in addition to when you have a to-do list, you also have to have a not to-do list. You know, for example, so, it's on one side, yes, you have so many things you want to do, but one of the best things to do is agree that in certain instances, you are not going to uh, attend or go into certain other things. For example, I will never get involved in these long drawn out battles on comments on social media. I'm sure you've seen that in certain places where they get into big fights over something small, and it takes hours and hours sometimes, and you just waste your breath, and also you lose your temper and things like that. I will not do. The second thing which I want to adopt is I wanted to what he says is plan your job around your life and not your life around your job. So those are the two things which I've learned to adopt from this book in the journey of my life.
Yes, thank you, Krishantan. That sounds really inspiring. And it's true what you said. So I'd like to direct the next question to Dr. Mohan. So can you tell us what are the MDG, the Millennium Development Goals?
Exactly, it's a long discussion that is also developed by UN bodies. There are more than 10 goals are there. So we have to start from the IMF World Bank definitions. IMF handling the financial matters, the World Bank is handling the especially macro matters and the poverty alleviation programs. There are listed Millennial Development Goals are there. I'm sorry, I'm not going to display each and every goals. The central idea about these goals, eliminating poverty at the global level, right? Also, developing corporate social responsibility by each nation to contribute not only their sovereign nations, the poverty level, also in the global society. The North-South division is very important. You can see the North is getting rich, North Pole, North part of the nations, Europe, Northern America, and the Russian side. Also, South Poles are getting poor and poor, more starvation, right? However, if you see there is a movie, Blood Diamond. You see that movie, actually southern, South countries are rich. However, these countries are colonized and systematically exploited and looted by Western countries. So the best movie, better to see this movie, Blood Diamond movie, you can understand how the rich African nations are being looted by the West. So the central idea, the Millennium Development Goal, more than 10 goals are there, listed goals, also developed by the UN bodies. So here, central target of these goals, all the countries has to contribute mutually and fairly to eliminate the poverty in the sovereign nation and in the global community. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mohan. And it's really interesting to know that. So I'd like to ask a next question from Krishanta. So may I know what are the practical tips that you can suggest to us from this book?
All right. I can give you three very solid practical tips from this book. And it's just going to take a little time, but bear with me because these are three excellent tips. So the first thing is to begin your perfect day, right? First, you need to figure out what you want in life, as in the goals, Once you get into goals, you need to then craft or carve out your actions. Now, say for example, I want to write a book. And if I want to write a book, that means I have to get into the habit of writing, maybe writing 5 pages every day or writing for an hour every day. Those are the actions. And I need to come up with a checklist of actions. If I want to, let's say, lose weight, right? Then I would need to figure out, I would schedule 3 gym workouts, I would schedule 3 cardio sessions, maybe eat salads for 5 days of the week for lunch, and I figure out a checklist. What he says is, once you figure out the checklist, throw away your goals, focus on the process to getting it done, and don't look at the end result and compare yourself against that, but just to focus on the process. In fact, he quotes Dr. Sri Kumar Rao. It says, do not invest in the outcome, but invest in the process. So that's your tip number one. Tip number two is the perfect day actually begins the night before, not in that morning. A lot of us would get up in the morning and try and plan our day out. But what Craig says is, start the night before, actually sit down and script out your entire day. So, do it what you're going to do in the morning, what you're going to do in the afternoon, what time you will have lunch. In that manner, script out your entire day. and always try and schedule your top three most important goals, give it priority compared to anything else, right? So that's tip number 2. And tip number 3 is you will always have people and things which come to sway you away from your actions. For example, uh, again, I'm talking about losing weight. You decided on certain days you will not go out because you will be tempted to eat a lot. But then someone would call you and say, look, Majan, shall we go out for a couple of drinks, or shall we, come on, let me buy you dinner, which will take you off your path. So in a situation like that, you should have prepared for it and have an excuse ready. You could say, look, I'm sorry, I have a blood test tomorrow. It's a little white lie. And generally, if you say something like that, then no one is going to push you to come, right? In the same way, now in my case, okay, uh, I never ever go out on Saturday evenings, right? That is a firm, uh, it's a firm, what shall I say? It's a firm task in my calendar. I don't go out. That's sort of my relaxing time. And so if anyone asks me, what are you up to on Saturday? I will say, okay, look, listen, I have some visitors coming. Thereby, having a perfect excuse to not go out and engage with people because I prefer to be alone during that time. So the main thing is you will always have people, you will always have obstacles, right? And if you analyze your time, if you look back, you will have these obstacles. So what you need to do is plan for it, pre-plan for it in advance, and then you can work around that, which means your perfect day is going well.
Yes, thank you, Krishant. I think that was really inspiring, and we can all use those tips in our lives. So I would like to direct the next question to Dr. Mohan. Dr. Mohan, can you tell us how education could be a solution to eradicating poverty?
Okay, thank you. When there's a poverty, starvation, famine, economists, they address the problem, immediate solution and the long-term solution. So eliminating poverty, the best instrument is giving the proper education from the basement level to the floor. Say, think for example this way, a family is suffering, okay, they need some food. I can give 2 kilogram fish, okay, take this fish and cook and eat. Option 1 I have. Second option, I can give instruments to catching fish and proper knowledge to catching fish. So immediately people will say, sometime, give me the fish 2 kilograms, we are hungry, we need to eat. So if we give for the lunch 2 kilogram fish, then dinner also they will ask the same family. So I'm not against for the short-term solution, but I say we have to eliminate poverty permanently. There are 2 levels of poverty. What are the poverty? Absolute poverty, relative poverty. We need to address absolute poverty. Relative poverty always exists. What is the difference? If you see the southern part of the global society, global countries, Somalia, Ethiopia, there are people without food, without shelter. Obviously, you can see the people are under poverty. But when it comes to the relative poverty, I am comparing, A is comparing B with B. When we compare A and B, skill differences are there, gender differences are there, inherited properties achieved, distributed in a different way. Therefore, the relative poverties are common. Say, for example, person A totally different from person B. A doctor and teacher, earning is totally different. So that poverty unable to eliminate. Dangerous things. And the root for all crisis, the poverty. So the solution, there are many. However, the best solution is education. Educate a person. Then you are educating a family. You are educating a family means you are educating a society. Then you are educating a nation. And you are educating a global community. So there is no other option. Okay, that's the best way to solve this problem immediately from the corner part of the Sri Lanka to the UN level. So education is the key instruments. There are hundreds of thoughts are there, education, and to eliminate poverty. The best instrument to bring change, to bring economic growth, equalizing the distribution of resources and wealth, to make accountable the government and giving the responsibility to the government, education is the key. So education is the harness to solve all the problems. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mohan. So if I may ask you another question, actually, what are the other solutions, in your opinion, which could be used to eliminate poverty according to this book?
Yeah, thank you. Connecting to the first question answer, education is the first option, but it will take long time. See, Sri Lanka since independence, all universities still under the same education system. No improvements are there. I was lecturing nearly 5 universities. Okay, nearly leading top 5 universities. I was a lecturer. I know what is happening in the university system. There is no improvements. All traditional conventional teaching. Teaching and the lecturing and earning a degree for earning money. But central idea of the education, creating a good citizen. So we lost that, creating a good citizen. Creating a responsible person, we lost that. Okay. So education, we need reforms. Now coming to the question, what are the other instruments? What are the other tools? You can see the popular Harvard economist, Mohammed Yunus. He's from Bangladesh. He started the Grameen Bank. So the Grameen Bank, from that program, he grabbed international attention and he was awarded Nobel Prize. So that was one of the key instruments to eliminate poverty. Then microcredit schemes. Many cottage industries are there. Training, technological trainings, workshops. Okay, public awareness. There are various other programs we have to develop along with this main education. Especially the cottage industry in the central idea in this book, explain cottage industry. That means home-based industries. Microcredit finance, self-sufficiency, giving the family to stand their own legs, own feet, they are deciding their own destiny. There are various programs along with the central educational provision. Other provisions are there. As the main here, microfinance as a best solution, and model is developed by Mohammed Yunus of Bangladesh. It's a Grameen Bank model. Now it is implemented in Sri Lanka. Sanasa universities are there. I faced that university on interview also and some presentation. Sanasa Bank also targeting that type of program. There are various financial companies are there giving this Grameen credit programs. So that is the answer for other solution to eliminate poverty.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mohan. That is really very insightful. So my next question is for Krishanta. So can you tell us what was your perspective of life before you read the book and after you read the book?
Again, you have to type it out for me, please.
So my next question is for Shanta. So can you tell us what was your perspective of life before you read the book and after you read the book?
Okay, your question was, can you tell us your perspective of life before and after you read the book? Well, I'd like to call it, I'm still a work in progress. See, after reading it, now I know what I did not know, which is I know when I'm going about my day in an aimless fashion, right? But, and having said that, I've been able to add more structure to my life than before I read this book. But again, I want to reiterate, it's a work in progress. And what shall I say? I'm getting better at it, but I have not still mastered the perfect day completely. Thank you.
Yes, I think we all are on that journey. We are still mastering it actually. So thank you, Krishanta, for that. And my next question is for Dr. Mohan again. Dr. Mohan, what is the role of the state and the media to eliminating poverty?
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. There are two concepts here. One is state, other one is media. Let us discuss the state. Okay, Sri Lanka is our mother, country, and I love my motherland. I was in Europe, but I don't like to live in Europe. I am nationalist. I like my country. I want to continue. Also, I grab the global knowledge from the various institution organizations. So I want to put my contribution to eliminate poverty, to bring the accountable governance, also to bring professional, intellectual thinking, intellectual awakening among Sri Lankans. I represent one community, but my simple identity, I am Sri Lankan, I am an intellectual person, I am carrying intellectual message. Coming to the point, there are two ways I am going to respond. One, Sri Lankan state can eliminate poverty, state level. Second, the global state is there. There are two concepts. Starting from the global concept. Today, you can see the Ukraine crisis taking place. Everyone can see in the news that UN body failed to stop that crisis. That means there is a problem of a world policeman or world leader or world strong leader based on ethics and morals. Nothing. You know, the China's domination across the world fully commercialized. Russia, no morals, no ethics. You can see the Ukraine crisis, not only Ukraine crisis, Russian, the territories, how they are invading other countries. There are a lot of messages. America, we notice from the Trump. Also, there are other countries, Germany, starting from the Hitler history. Colonization came from north to south. So we need a global governance. Accountability is very important at the global level. Today, the world is divided north and south because of the failure of global governance. Say, for example, I am a rich person. So my property must go to my family and my kids, my wife, my relatives. Also, my neighbors. Okay, there is a share for my neighbors. Also, there is a share for my country people. It doesn't matter whether they are Sri Lankan, Sinhalese or Buddhists or Christians or Muslim, Malay, Berber. As a Sri Lankan nation, I have to contribute for all community because they are Sri Lankan, they are human. As a humanitarian point of view, when someone suffers, we have to contribute intellectually and materially. So my addressing point is there is a problem of global governance. So how we can bring the accountable global governance? It's a long debate. Second point, since independent day, okay, 1940s onwards now, present current government, see which government brought systematical economic policy documents, which university is teaching, Sri Lanka, which university is teaching own thoughts to develop own nation. We are teaching, I'm an economist, the best lecturer economics in various universities. We are teaching Adam Smith ideas. We are teaching Keynesian ideas. We are teaching Karl Marx ideas. These all are foreigners. I'm not against Western ideas. I'm not Marxist. I'm not racist. I'm an intellectual person. I teach moral-based ethical economics. This is the message for Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka needs moral-based ethical economics ideas, moral-based educational ideas, moral-based political ideas, and political thoughts. Second point, there is a problem of the democracy. I like democracy, it's a nice term. And I like to vote for the leaders and parliamentarians. One side, we are getting a voting rights. Other side, there is a problem. Once the vote is done, we can't control this. We can't reprimand the government. So, for example, you can see Sri Lankan leaders, they don't listen to the people. Intellectuals are in one side, politicians are in the other side. There is no collaboration. Vietmaga, there are various names are there. But intellectuals, either they are blindly following the government, not responsibly addressing the government. Right? So intellectual has to play intellectual roles. Since independent day onwards, until now, we did not see a proper policy document to eliminate poverty, to develop the best political system, to develop the best university system. So we are thought vacuums, ideas vacuums, honest discussion is not taking place. So the state responsibility hereafter, without any political interferences, independent intellectual has to stand up for their own ideas. There is a term Machiavelli. In Italian history, there was a king, Machiavelli we call. From his idea, Prince, that he has written a book, Prince. So we call Machiavellism. What is Machiavellism? What is happening in Sri Lanka is a Machiavellism. Not only the current government, even previous government. No ethics, no moral. All greedy ideas. Power hungry, fighting for the table and the position. Innocent people are suffering. So majority people are victims by today's the system. I'm not blaming the political party or current government. I'm talking since independent day onwards until now. I haven't seen a proper policy documents to eliminate poverty, to develop the best education system, to develop the professionalism in the workplace, to develop the accountability in the Sri Lankan system. So we have a responsibility. The nation in crisis, universities are in crisis, economy is in crisis, women in crisis, they are the victim. So we have to play a role. Intellectual struggle is very important. So that is my answer, the state level. Coming to the media level. Media is very powerful. Today I am reaching millions of people through this Flipside presentation. So we can capitalize, we can use the media to make full awareness about the central idea of the poverty, how we can eliminate, how we can bring the resources from other countries, how intellectuals can play a leading role through the independent media. We can use social medias. So we have to use the powerful social media, especially to eliminate poverty. So independent intellectual struggle. These are the three terms I'm using. Independent, intellectual, struggle is very important to eliminate poverty by the state level, local and global, and by media level. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Mohan. That's a very, very insightful point that how everybody shares responsibility for eliminating poverty. Thank you so much. So with that, we have come to the end of another interesting flip side, and I can safely say that it was a very successful flip side today. So I would like to thank both Dr. Mohan and Krishanta for joining with us today. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for sharing your insights with us. And I would like to thank our audience. Thank you to every single one of you who took time to join with us today. And I'm sure you have gained a lot of value from both of our speakers today. And as you know, Pick a Book Sri Lanka, our mission is to change the participants' sense of self through the wonders of literature, and they inspire change. And I think from this episode, we were able to inspire change. So thank you once again to Dr. Mohan and Mr. Krishanta, to the presenters, for taking time off your busy schedules to be with us here today. So once again, good evening, and thank you to all of you for joining us for this Flipside today. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. God bless you and have a good day. Good night.
You too. Good evening to both of you and all of you.